She did not expect me to be awake. The door creaked open like a confession. Her heels tapped over the threshold like tiny betrayals. I was sitting at the kitchen table, lights off, hands around a cold cup of coffee that had stopped steaming hours ago. She paused in the entryway, outlined by the hallway light behind her. One heel in her hand, makeup smeared in a way that was not tired. It was erased. Melissa, that was her name, but at that moment it did not feel like her. She froze when she saw me, not startled, just calculating. I could actually see her eyes dart to the clock on the oven. 2:04 am, then to me, then to her purse, like she was mentally rewinding time and editing scenes before they hit my screen. "Oh," she said flatly, "Yuri, still up, not worried, not surprised, not sorry, just annoyed." Like I'd caught her trying to sneak the last slice of cake. I did not answer. I just stared. Her dress was wrinkled around the waist. A single earring hung lopsided. She was not even trying to look like she came from a bar. More like she had been pulled out of something and zipped up fast. She stepped in, dropped her keys on the counter, and made a show of yawning. "You did not text," she added. "Thought you'd gone to sleep." I pushed the coffee away and stood slowly. I did not want to interrupt. "Whatever you were doing," that made her stop mid-step. Her voice dropped half a tone. "Jake, do not start." The way she said it, like I was the one ruining a good thing, made something in me twist. All week she'd been distant. Short texts. Brushed off calls. She'd come home 2 nights ago with a scarf that was not hers tucked into her coat pocket. I asked. She said it was Anna's. I checked. Anna had moved to Denver last month. I moved around the table, deliberately, slowly, keeping my eyes locked on her. "Tell me the truth." She stared at me, arms folded. Like she'd been preparing for this and was already bored of it. "What truth?" she said with a tired sigh. "Where were you?" She scoffed. "Out. With co-workers. You knew this. I literally told you before I left." "Christ, Jake." I pulled the chair out sharply. She flinched. Just for a second. A flash of something behind her eyes. Guilt. Fear. Recognition. I reached into my back pocket and placed it on the table. A red hotel keycard. Her face did not twitch. Not even a blink. Found it in the passenger side floor mat of her car earlier that evening, while moving it to make space in the driveway. Hilton Midtown. Room 806. My name was not on it. Neither was hers. She did not touch it. She just tilted her head. "You went through my car?" That's what she picked. Not why was this in my car. Not how did this get here. Just accusation? "I was not looking for anything," I said slowly. "But it found me anyway." Melissa rolled her eyes. Actually rolled them. "Jesus. You unbelievable." I laughed once. Hollow. "You not even going to deny it, are you?" She walked over to the fridge, opened it, and grabbed a bottle of water like we were in the middle of some casual post-party recap. "Why would I?" she muttered. "You already made up your mind." And then she smiled. Not sheepish. Not remorseful. A slow, cruel corner of the mouth smile. Like I had finally stepped into the punchline she'd been building up for months. "That's the thing about suspicion," she said, twisting the cap off. "Eventually you just become the villain anyway. So why not wear the crown?" That was it. No denial. No lie. No apology. Just confirmation with flair. The woman I married. She was not standing there anymore. And the woman in front of me did not care that I saw her for who she really was. She was relieved. She drank the water like we were just 2 people winding down after a night out. Not standing at ground zero of a betrayal she'd been crafting in the dark while I stayed home. Loyal and blind. Melissa leaned against the counter. Bottle in hand. That same condescending smirk dancing on her face. She looked so comfortable. Not an ounce of shame. Like she'd been waiting for me to catch up. And now that I had, she was free. "So what now?" she asked. You gonna cry? Scream? Throw something? Please at least be interesting. I stood there silent, stunned not by the fact that she cheated. No, my gut had been telling me that for weeks. But by how effortlessly cruel she was being about it. Like the worst part for her was having to pause her little affair to deal with me. Who is he? Asked. My voice sounded strange in my throat. Flat. Dry. Almost like someone else was speaking. She tilted her head, pretending to think. Does it matter? It did. Not because I cared about him, but because I needed to know how deep this went. Was it someone I knew? One of her coworkers she claimed to hate? Someone from the gym she quit but kept running into? She took another sip. All right, fine. You want to know? I nodded once. She set the bottle down with a loud, careless clack and said it Brad. Silence. I blinked. Brad. Brad Stevens. My boss. The name hit like a hammer. I'd met him. He shook my hand. He came to our house once for a holiday party. Slept with his wife in a guest room while he was sleeping with mine in hotels I probably paid for. I felt my jaw tighten. My fists curled without me noticing. Melissa saw it and laughed, like I was some awkward actor failing to hit his dramatic cue. Do not get all righteous, she said. You think I wanted this? You think I planned it? I did not answer. Because yes, I thought exactly that. You ignored me for months. She went on, her voice rising like she was gearing up for a monologue. Always at your desk, always busy, always tired. I got sick of asking for your attention. Brad noticed. He listened. He made me feel wanted. The last word was a knife she twisted deliberately. Her eyes locked on mine, waiting for me to bleed. You did not even notice when I stopped wearing my ring, she added, holding up her left hand. It has been 2 months, Jake. She was right. I had not noticed. That ring sat in my nightstand drawer now, where she probably dropped it after climbing out of another man's bed. Still, I forced myself to stay still to keep calm. So why stay with me at all? Her response was instant. Security. You're stable, reliable, comfortable, like a houseplant that waters itself. I actually had to grip the edge of the counter to keep from shaking. Not from rage. Not yet. From clarity. The veil had lifted, and what stood in front of me was not my wife. It was a stranger who'd been wearing her face like a costume. I gave you everything, I whispered. She shrugged. And I took what I needed. No remorse. No hesitation. I should have left right then. I should have walked out without another word. But something held me there. The need for her to understand, for her to see what she destroyed. But she already knew. She just did not care. I want you out of this house, I said finally, cold. Final. She chuckled, grabbed her bag and strutted toward the stairs. I figured I already packed a bag earlier. She tossed over her shoulder. Did not think you'd be dumb enough to stay blind forever. Then she disappeared up the stairs like it was just another Thursday night. And I was left standing in the ruins, watching a stranger walk out of my marriage like she'd just clocked out of a shift. I did not sleep that night. The house felt alien, like her scent still hung in the air. Too sweet. Too intentional. Like every picture frame on the wall was laughing at me. Our smiles, our vacations, the beach trip with her mom. All of it looked fake now. Just props in the theater of Melissa, the loyal wife. She never came back down. I do not know if she was sleeping or messaging Brad, or maybe both. What I do know is that around 6:12 a.m. I heard her dragging her suitcase down the stairs. Click. 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 Wheels on the hardwood. She did not say anything at first. Just paused by the door, gave a long exhale like she was the one going through something heavy. Then she looked at me, still sitting at the kitchen table, same spot I'd been in when she walked in hours ago. You gonna mope forever? She asked, tilting her head. I looked at her, really looked at her. She had changed clothes. Fresh makeup. Hair done. No puffy eyes, no swollen lips from crying. Not even a crack in the armor. She looked like someone about to catch a flight to Miami, not someone walking out of a 6-year marriage. I do not even think you human, I said. She smiled, thin and proud. Finally, you catching up. She opened the door, light flooding in behind her, suitcase in one hand, phone in the other. You'll be fine, Jake, she said. You always are. And then she left. No hug. No goodbye. Not even a door slam. She did not give me that satisfaction. Just silence. That kind of silence that hums in your ears and makes your heart sound too loud in your chest. I sat there for a long time, still as a statue, until the sun crept across the tile and burned a line right across the table. It took me hours to move. When I finally stood, I walked to the bathroom and opened the drawer on her side. Empty. She'd already been packing days ago. Every drawer, closet, shelf cleaned out. Like she'd been waiting for the right time to blow it all up and vanish. But then I found it. On the floor of the closet behind a pile of scars was a small black notebook. Leather-bound. The kind she used for journaling. She used to write poetry. Sketch when she could not sleep. I picked it up like it was a grenade. First few pages were blank. Then scribbles. Lyrics. Notes. Then about halfway through, I found it a list. Things to do before I leave him. Get own bank account. Hide the Hilton receipts. Get keys back from Brad's condo. Tell Anna to cover me again. Pack slowly, do not rush. Turn Jake into the problem if he starts asking questions. I stopped reading. Could not. Every line was a match struck under my ribs. I dropped the notebook, stepped back, and just stared at it like it had bitten me. This was not an accident. It was not a lapse. It was not a mistake. It was a plan. She planned every part of it. The lying, the gaslighting, the manipulation. She had a blueprint for destroying me and walking away without a scratch. Suddenly, my sadness was not sadness anymore. It was something else. Hot, sharp, focused. The rage did not come in a scream. It came in the stillness, the kind that pulses behind your eyes and makes your hands go numb. I stood there, staring at that notebook like it was radioactive. A hit list. And I was the mark. Everything I thought was me being paranoid had been scripted, expected. She wanted me to react. She built in her escape route before I even knew there was a fire. I picked up the notebook again. Flipping past that list. There were dates scribbled next to each item. Weeks back, she'd been laying this out like a military operation. She had strategies. One page had a breakdown of how long she could stretch it before I'd catch on. Another page was a mock conversation where she practiced making me the bad guy. Gaslighting rehearsals. I read it twice, heart thudding like a war drum. You just paranoid. It was just a drink. You smothering me. I need to breathe. She rehearsed it all. She did not just cheat. She engineered the fall. I snapped the notebook shut and dropped it on the counter. Suddenly, everything in the house felt infected. Her favorite mug. Her books on the shelf. The throw blanket she always claimed was hers. I grabbed it and chucked it in the trash. Mug gone. Books. Boxed and shoved into the garage like they'd never existed. The worst part. I was not even surprised anymore. All those little moments. The late meetings. The dead phone. The random new underwear she claimed was just for me. But somehow never showed up again. They were pieces. Not red flags, flares. And I'd been blindfolded. Waving a white flag in a war I did not even know I was losing. Around noon I called Anna, her supposed friend. The one who was always covering for her. She answered on the second ring. Hey Jake. Everything okay? Is Melissa with you? I asked. Straight. Cold. Pause. What? You've been covering for her. I just want to hear you say it. Another pause. Then finally a small sigh. Look, I did not know the whole story. Okay? She said you two were going through stuff. She just needed space. You knew she was not at your place. I figured. But I did not ask. I did not want to get involved. You were already involved. Silence. I hung up. I was not angry at Anna. She was just a name on a list. Melissa's list. Just another tool. That night, the house felt too quiet. Every shadow felt long. Every room echoing with old lies. And that S when I saw the email. I do not know what made me check her laptop. She'd left it behind. Surprisingly. Maybe thinking I'd be too broken to even touch her things. But I opened it. And there it was. An email chain between her and Brad. Subject. Weekend plans? Brad. Book the suite again. ULL love the view. I'll bring wine. You bring your claws. Melissa. I might not go home after this. Finally done pretending. Let us make it real. Timestamp. 2 days before our anniversary. They'd planned to celebrate her freedom while I was buying her flowers and setting dinner reservations she never showed up to. She never forgot our anniversary. She chose to skip it. I stared at that last message. Then slowly closed the laptop. Stood up and walked outside. The wind hit hard, not cold, but cleansing. For the first time in weeks, I did not feel lost. I felt done. Not broken. Not destroyed. Just finished. 2 days passed. I did not hear from her. No, I'm sorry. No, let us talk. No pathetic text. No half-baked apology typed through guilt-written thumbs at 2 a.m. Nothing. She was gone just like she planned. And I was in the eye of it. That strange calm that comes after the explosion where the ringing in your ears is louder than the wreckage you're standing in. There was pain. Yeah, but it was not chaos anymore. It was focused. Clean. Like a cut that finally stopped bleeding. I started cleaning house, not metaphorically. Literally. I opened every drawer, every cabinet, every closet, every physical part of her that still clung to my world like a vine around the throat of my peace. It went her yoga mat, dumpster, her hairbrush, burned that stupid dream board with pictures of Santorini and manifest your bliss quotes. I ripped it in half and fed it into the fireplace piece by piece. It was not revenge. It was removal. Every photo with her in it. Gone. Not just from the walls. From my phone. From the cloud. From me. I backed up the few things that mattered: pictures with friends, my family, the dog we used to have before she rehomed, him behind my back because he was too needy. Another decision she made without me. When I swallowed like it did not rip a piece out of me. No more. I wrote her a letter. Not for her to read, for me to release. Melissa. You did not break me. You revealed me. You peeled back the shell I was trapped in and forced me to see what I'd become: passive, patient, painfully forgiving. You did not destroy me. You exposed my silence. And now you do not exist here anymore. Not in this house. Not in my memory. Not in my future. Go play dress up with someone else's life. You're not welcome in mine. I folded it, taped it to the mirror in the hallway, the one she used to take selfies in before heading out to lie to me. Then I made the call. Lawyer. Quick consultation. Divorce paperwork underway. She'd already walked out of the marriage emotionally months ago. I was just catching up legally. A day later, I get a text from an unknown number. So it's like that. No name. But I knew that tone. It was her. I stared at it for a long moment and deleted it without responding. Then blocked the number. I half expected her to show up to kick up drama, try to manipulate the scene back into her hands. But nothing came, because here's the truth. She'd never admit she did not want me. She wanted the idea of me. The paycheck. The house. The stability. The loyal placeholder. She just got bored of pretending and found a shinier object in a suit who called her talented in a boardroom once. But now she'd have to build her fake life with him, with Brad. A man who cheats with a married woman behind his wife's back. The foundation of their romance lies cowardice. Deceit. Let them have each other. Let them rot in their own masterpiece. And me? I slept that night. For the first time in months I slept. Solid. Deep. Peaceful. And when I woke up, I did not feel like a man who was cheated on. I felt like a man who'd finally been freed. 3 weeks passed. 3 weeks of silence. 3 weeks of unraveling the lie that had been my marriage. You do not realize how many layers someone has until you start peeling them off one detail at a time. The neighbors asked where Melissa was. I told them she moved out. No drama. No story. Just the truth. Clean and bare. Most nodded slowly, pretending not to be surprised. One of them, Carol, hesitated a second too long before saying, "If you ever need anything," with that sympathetic smile that meant she knew. Maybe not the full truth, but something. And then it happened. A letter. Not an email. Not a text. A real envelope in the mailbox with my name scribbled in that arrogant, loop-heavy handwriting. No return address. I opened it standing on the porch. "Jake? I know you're angry. I know you think I'm a monster. But I needed to say this. I did not plan to hurt you. I just got tired of living a life that did not feel like mine anymore. I do not expect you to understand. But I hope one day you'll forgive me. Brad and I were serious. I'm not writing to rub that in. I just did not want to disappear without leaving something behind. I'll always be grateful for you. Even if you hate me now." I crumpled it and dropped it in the trash on the way back inside. She did not write to apologize. She wrote to soften the landing. To wrap her betrayal in poetic flourishes and pity. To make her feel better about torching our life together and dancing around the ashes with the man who helped her do it. Serious with Brad? Let them be serious. Let them build their relationship on stolen hours and hotel keys. I'd lost the need to compete with ghosts. But that same day, something else came. A message request on Instagram from a name I did not recognize. Erica. Profile picture. A woman, maybe mid-30s. Sharp eyes. Confident smile. The message: "Hey, I think we need to talk. I'm Brad's wife." I froze. I clicked on the profile. Real account. Posts dating back years. Pictures of her and Brad. Anniversary captions. Vacations. Matching Halloween costumes with their kids. Kids. Melissa had been screwing a man with children. I accepted the message. Hardened my throat. I typed, "I'm listening." She replied fast. Like she'd been waiting for this. I found messages. Emails. It's been going on for a while, has not it? She's married too, right? I sat back. Let out a breath. I did not realize I was holding. Yeah, she was not anymore. How did you find me? Her name was in his calendar. Dinner. Repeated. Too often. I googled. Found your wedding registry. Backtracked. Landed here. She was sharp. Relentless. Like a detective who got tired of being lied to. And then she dropped the hammer. "I'm filing for divorce. Already moved out. He does not know yet. But he will." I stared at the screen for a long time. 2 marriages. Burned to the ground by 2 selfish people playing fantasy while the rest of us stayed loyal and blind. But in that moment, something like relief. I typed back. "If you ever need anything, Erica." Same Jake. They thought we'd never find each other. Funny how betrayal has a way of introducing strangers. We did not message more than that. No revenge pact. No bitter plans. Just mutual recognition. 2 people who had been sucker punched by the same wrecking ball. And somehow that felt right. Later that night, I opened a bottle of bourbon I'd been saving for a celebration. I poured 2 fingers over. I sat on the back porch and watched the sky go purple. The house was quiet. Melissa's ghost no longer haunted it. And I raised my glass not to closure, but to clarity. The next morning I woke up with clarity still humming in my blood. There was no hangover. No regret. Just silence. The kind that did not ache anymore. The kind that fit. The paperwork came through 2 days later. Final drafts. Divorce proceedings initiated. Clean separation. No kids. No joint business. Just assets and legal ties to sever. My lawyer was quick, sharp, efficient. When she asked if I wanted to pursue any claims based on infidelity, I just shook my head. I do not want anything from her, I said. I just want her gone. And she was. Physically, at least. But echoes of her were everywhere. Triggers I had not expected. A commercial for that stupid spa resort she begged me to book last year, the one she cancelled last minute because of a branding emergency. A pair of her earrings I found stuck in the couch cushions. A half-empty bottle of her dry shampoo under the sink. Little relics. Unfinished business. I gathered them all, tossed them in a box, and drove them straight to Goodwill without a second thought. On the way back, I stopped at a red light, windows down, spring air sliding through my fingers. I looked to my right, and for a split second, a blink, I thought I saw her. Melissa. On the sidewalk, laughing with a man. It was not her. Not even close. But my stomach turned all the same. Not because I missed her. But because my body still did not trust my eyes. Like it still did not believe she could be gone. Back home, I decided to do the last thing I'd been avoiding. Wipe the shared drive on our home network. Photos. Documents. Old trip itineraries. Music playlists. All the bits and bytes that stitched our life together. I paused at one folder: Anniversary 2019. We'd gone to Seattle. I'd saved up for months to surprise her with that trip. She cried at the view from the Space Needle. At least I thought she did. Now I'm not so sure. I opened one video file. The two of us in a hotel room clinking glasses of champagne. She's laughing. I'm talking about how we made it through the hardest year yet. She looks into the camera and says, "I'm not going anywhere." I watched it twice. Then deleted it. Every single one. Empty recycle bin. Gone. That night, Erica messaged me again. He knows. Came home and the house was half empty. Called 11 times. I turned my phone off. Feels good. How's the storm on your end? Cleared out. Sun's shining through now. You okay? Better than okay. I feel like I finally exhaled after holding my breath for a year. I booked a beach Airbnb for the weekend. Just me and the kids. They deserve the fresh air more than anyone. Good. You read doing the right thing for you. For them. We should get a drink sometime, post-divorce club rules and all. I smiled at the screen. Not because I was catching feelings. This was not a rebound movie script. But because healing recognizes healing. Rain check. But yeah, one day I logged off, made tea, played music I had not listened to in years. Stuff she used to say was too whiny or too slow. Funny how your taste comes back when nobody's trying to edit you. At some point, I walked past the hallway mirror. The one where her notes still hung taped in place. I paused, looked at myself for a long moment, then took the note down. Not because I was ready to forget. But because I was finally ready to move on. I did not expect the phone call. It was a Thursday. Normal. Quiet. I was in the middle of rebuilding an old bookshelf she used to complain was too bulky. I sanded it down, stained it darker, something simple, solid mine. The phone buzzed on the counter. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. Almost. But I answered Jake, her voice. Melissa, it hit like a cold knife to the back of my neck. Sharp, uninvited. I said nothing. She hesitated. Then again, softer, Jake, I just wanted to talk. The gall. You do not get to just want things anymore. I said, calm, dead calm. I know. I know I do not deserve whatever. Her voice broke and I almost laughed at the performance of it. It's not what I thought it would be with Brad. I stayed quiet. Let her talk. I moved in with him. It was fast. I was caught up in it. The attention, The way he made me feel seen. And then suddenly I'm in his apartment, and it's like you traded up and got junk in return. I said. She went silent. Then he married Jake. I thought he was going to leave her. He told me he was going to file. He did not. He still has not. I could have told her Erica already beat him to the punch, but I did not let her rot in that uncertainty a little longer. I'm not calling to get you back, she continued. I just wanted to hear your voice. I wanted to remember what it sounded like when someone cared. There it was. Not regret. Not apology. Just loneliness. And the creeping reality that the fantasy she jumped into was a hollow shell that echoed. You wrote it down. I said in your notebook, you planned to make me look crazy. She sucked in a breath. I found it, Melissa. Jake. No, I cut in. You do not get to Jake me. You do not get to call me like this and fish for comfort. You made your bed. You lit the house on fire, and now you want to sit in the ashes and talk about warmth. More silence. Then a weak pitiful, I missed the version of us when it was good. I finally let out a bitter chuckle. The version of us that was good did not include Brad. I hung up. No rage. No broken glass. Just finality. I stood there, phone in hand, listening to the nothing. It felt good. Later that night, I saw a new message on Instagram. Erica again. He showed up. Said you told me everything? Said I ruined his life? Can you believe that? Sounds like someone's house of cards is finally collapsing. He begged me to stay. Said Melissa was just a phase. Let me guess. He also said you were crazy when you found out. Bingo. Word for word. She sent a photo. Brad, red-faced, disheveled, sitting on her front porch with a suitcase like a kid sent home from camp. I did not even open the door. I took the kids out back and watched him sit there for an hour. Then I called my lawyer. Uriah Savage. No, I'm free. Just like you. I stared at that message longer than I should have. Not because I was falling for her. This was not that. It was the realization that in the wreckage, we were not just survivors. We were builders. We'd been detonated by the same blast. Yes. But now we stood in the smoke holding blueprints. New foundations. New silence. Our silence. One not poisoned by lies. That night I finished the bookshelf. Stood it up against the wall. Sturdy. Reclaimed. Reinvented. Just like me, the divorce was finalized the following week. No drawn-out court drama. No fiery texts. No sobbing voicemails. Melissa signed everything quickly, probably embarrassed, probably still trying to salvage whatever was left with Brad. Or maybe she finally understood there was nothing left here for her. My lawyer emailed me the confirmation late in the afternoon. I stared at the PDF on my screen, a clean line of black and white text officially closing 6 years of marriage. 6 years ended in 4 pages. There was no surge of emotion. No breakdown. Just a strange stillness. The kind that settles after a long storm has burned itself out. For the first time in months, I did not feel like I was fighting the current. I was standing on the shore, soaked and scarred, but standing. That night I went to a small bar 2 towns over. The kind Melissa used to call Beneath Us. Dim lighting, no cocktails with orange peels, just a jukebox and decent wings. I sat at the counter, ordered a whiskey, and did not check my phone for over an hour. I did not need to. But then, like fate doing its little encore, I saw her. Not Melissa. Erica. She walked in wearing a denim jacket in purpose. She did not see me at first, ordered a drink, tucked her hair behind her ear and scanned the bar like someone who was not running from anything, but maybe finally walking towards something. I hesitated. Then I walked over. She looked up surprised, then smiled. Jake. I nodded. Guess we both needed the same kind of night. Divorce day, she said, lifting her glass. I raised mine to signing freedom. We clinked. She looked me in the eye. You doing okay? Better than I deserve to be. We talked. Not about them, not Brad, not Melissa, but about us. Not us as in romantic. Just people. Survivors. We talked about the weird silence after a breakup. About how nobody prepares you for the administrative side of heartbreak, the paperwork, the bank calls, the change of emergency contacts. How strange it feels to write single on a form after writing marry for years. It was not a spark. It was not some movie moment. It was real. And real felt rare. After an hour or so, she said I should go. Got work early. I nodded. Yeah, same. She grabbed her coat, turned to leave, then stopped. I'm glad it was you, she said. What do you mean? She smiled. That I found you when I went looking for the truth. You handled it like a good man. Melissa did not deserve that. I shrugged. Neither did you. She paused. Then held out her hand. I shook it. Then she left. I did not follow. I did not need to. It was not about chasing something new. It was about knowing I could choose when to stand still and when to move. I paid my tab, drove home, and slept like a stone dropped into the ocean. No dreams. No ghosts. Just dark, deep silence that I never saw Melissa again. Not in person, not by chance, not in the rearview mirror or behind me in a grocery store line. She became exactly what she deserved to be. A memory that does not get a seat at the table anymore. I heard things, though, whispers through mutual second-hand updates I never asked for. She did not stay with Brad. Turns out he was not the fantasy she built him into. Once the secrecy was gone and the spotlight hit, it all collapsed. Fast. They moved in, then moved out a matter of months. One of his kids apparently caught them fighting. Loud. Ugly. Erica never told me details. Just that Karma made it home safely. Melissa got a new job. New city too. Rebrand herself, start fresh. Good for her. But I was not curious. Not anymore. The real ending was not about what happened to her. It was about what did not happen to me. I did not spiral. I did not chase closure. I did not waste another second playing audience to her drama. I lived. My days got lighter. I started running again. Read more. Reconnected with friends I de-drifted from when I was busy putting out fires she kept lighting behind my back. I traveled. Booked a trip to Colorado solo. Hiked a ridge she always said was too cold and too steep. Stood on the summit. Wind in my face. And felt nothing but gratitude for the silence around me. And one morning, a few months later, I walked past a mirror and caught my reflection. Not by accident. Not with dread. I stopped. Looked at myself. Really looked. I was smiling. Not because of someone else. Because of me. Because I'd made it through hell, not crawling, walking tall, clean, clear-eyed. Melissa had burned our life down. But I'd built something better in the ashes. If you rereading this and you feel the walls closing and the gaslighting, the lies, the erosion of who you are, listen to me. You re not crazy. You re not overreacting. And you are not weak for staying too long. But when you leave, when you finally step into the truth, that first breath of peace will taste like freedom. And one day, without even realizing it, you'll look back at the worst thing that ever happened to you and smile because it did not break you. It rebuilt you. Jake.